Kreg awakens to Tilly's wrath, though faces it unperturbed, leaving Jeff fully intimidated by the small gnome. After a comedy of errors, the party realizes that Jelltur has gone missing and proceed to search the town for him. Meanwhile, back at the Ocean's Folly, Jelltur attempts to remove the surslet from the drow priestess's head that he had been carrying with him for days. After a bit of shopping, Sebastian the Lemur is added to the group, to the general discomfort of almost all. While amid the search for Jelltur, Scratch, Piper, and Kreg use their maps and charts to orient themselves, explaining to the monk just how large the world really is.
Alright, so you move down to the docks. You begin walking down there, and you can describe yourselves going down there if you like.
I'm basically, I take Scratch by the arm, and I just start, paw, yeah, and start nudging, pulling him along, maybe not realizing how hard or how fast I'm going. So...
No, seriously, do not touch me.
I touch the paw.
I pull my paw away. I pull my hand away.
I go after the paw again.
Do not touch.
Kreg is just asking to get smacked.
And I'm not going to help him. He needs to learn.
I pull my paw away again, and I said, "Stop that."
Okay. And I just start walking, and I go behind him, and I start pushing him.
Scratch, this is your game right now. What do you do?
Are we gonna be judo throwing him again?
You can totally be judo throwing him. Yeah. So make athletics versus acrobatics or athletics, whichever you prefer.
So almost instinctively, I grab him and throw him over my shoulder.
Alright, so it's either athletics or acrobatics versus either athletics or acrobatics. Because it's a monk doing this to a barbarian.
No, that's fine. I'm gonna do athletics.
So
I reach out to
acrobatics.
take Sebastian, not letting an innocent lemur get hurt.
Hang on, Piper. Let's see what happens here.
Yep.
So 18.
Yeah, that's a 19.
So you go to throw him, and he is stocky. Like, you go to grab, and he just doesn't move. You, like, grab him, and you go to throw him, but you lift him, and he's hefty in your arms, and you're kind of just holding him, and you look at him, and he's, like, in your arms, looking back at you, with the little lemur on his shoulder also staring at you.
Bryan, can I hug him now?
And as you're staring at him, confusion in your eyes, like, I should have been able to flip this little thing. Why is he so heavy? He just takes his arms and wraps them around your neck and nuzzles into your face a little bit. And Scratch, as you're sitting there, before you get the chance to, as you're sitting there in this moment, Sebastian's just, like, nose to nose with you. Those unblinking eyes staring into yours.
Watch it. And I drop him.
To the ship you all go. Well, to the docks you all go. And there, the ship is. And this ship looks nothing like the Ocean's Folly. It is larger. It is well-made and well-maintained. It is a dark, rich brown color, not light and gray like the other one was. This seems to be made out of a strong, sturdy wood. Scratch, go ahead and make me a nature check real quick.
Oh. That's a 4.
You don't recognize the type of wood. You'd be the only person who would, but you're right now in awe of seeing this thing. The masts go as high as any tree. They have the rigging, and the sails are not down. They are pinned up at the moment, but the sails are crimson red. The figurehead is actually very interesting to you, because it looks almost draconic when you see it. Except the head is smooth, the mouth is open, and there's no teeth. And you realize after a moment, it is the head of a snapping turtle, is the figurehead of the ship. And along the side, written in elegantly curved letters, is the name Lake Turtle. There's quite a bit of commotion going on. You see a lot of very large men and women of multiple races, though mostly human, and I'd say a couple... No, probably not any dwarves in this case. There are actually a couple of wood elves that are there. And the wood elves, instead of like moving the boxes and the heavy items, they seem to be moving through the rigging with amazing ease, tying off knots, not tying themselves off at all. They're just hanging precariously from positions. And a woman is standing in the middle of the deck, barking orders. She has thick, curling black hair, bronzed skin, and she is wearing this long red overcoat covered in golden buttons, and she has this poofy shirt underneath it, and she has a large, floppy hat that has a cutaway in the front, almost to allow her vision, with a long purple plume feather hanging from it. And on either side of her are two large men, their skin greenish, their ears pointed, and both of them flat-eyed. One has a large box on one shoulder, about the same size you see 4 humans carrying as they go by. Each one of them probably about 6.5 feet tall.
Kreg is impressed.
Kreg, you recognize these. They're half-orcs.
Oh, I look at a Scratch and I'm just like, those are half-orcs. They're like full orcs, except not.
Do I know what a half-orc is?
You have never seen an orc before, so you don't know what a half version is. As she turns around, you see she is a very attractive woman, and she seems to have quite a large personality about her as well, as she is barking orders around, and the 2 half-orcs are following her around, always about 2 or 3 steps behind her at any given time. And as she turns, you do see that she has a saber on one hip.
I will raise a hand to wave.
She looks down, cocks her head, and waves back at you. She says something to the 2 half-orcs, and she starts making her way towards the gangplank, but walks past it, hops up onto the side, grabs part of the rigging, and jumps. And as she does, one of the boxes that was getting ready to go up, the rope goes taut, and it snaps in her hand, and she kind of gently gets to her feet. And she looks at you, Scratch, actually, and says, "Hey there, fella. Hold on to that, would ya?" She just hands you the rope.
Okay.
Do you take it?
Kreg takes it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take it.
Alright, so the 2 of you are holding onto the rope. She goes, "Just keep that in hand until my boys get here. You folks seem to be new around these parts."
We are. Piper, it's a pleasure to meet you.
"Captain Rosita," and she shakes your hand.
What is the rope attached to?
A large crate on the ship still. You're just holding the rope
Why is
taut. It's not... You're not lifting it or anything. You're just holding it in place for her right now.
Oh, okay. It's lifted up. Okay, I got it.
You're just keeping the rope taut at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to try and pull at it and more or less just see if I can. I'm just like, oh, I guess she wants help.
Go ahead and make a strength check.
Alright.
Uh-oh.
15.
15. You pull on it, and you see the rope get taut and the crate lift up a little bit, but then you have to set it down. And Rosita looks at you, looks at the crate, and goes, "That's actually not bad."
Oh yes, Kreg is actually a very, very strong little gnome.
Don't break the ship. And that's when the 2 half-orcs come down, and they go on either side of Kreg and Scratch, and they take the rope, and you see them both just start pulling. Like, no sense of strain, nothing. They're just pulling on it, and the crate begins to lift, and as it does, there are a couple of the elves on board just kind of swing a piece of rigging, and a piece of wood it was attached to brings it out over the dock, and they slowly begin to lower the crate onto the dock. Yeah, we're bringing in supplies. Though I think it's
Supplies?
stupid that we're bringing in supplies and not ferrying out people, but then again, the coward never listens to me.
The coward?
Yeah.
Rolf. She rolls her eyes as she says it.
Oh really? Do do tell. We're actually supposed to speak with him in a little while. Maybe we could help.
You're going to speak with him, so that means you're going to go walk into a room and hit your head against a wall for a while. Sounds fun.
Oh, yes, though. Maybe it isn't necessarily our head that hits the wall, though. Depends on how things go, of course.
Sounds like you know him.
Oh, my daddy's been bringing supplies to Brath all his life until he died, and then I got the lake turtle, and I've been bringing supplies to Brath all my life. I learned to walk on this ship.
So, other than from the ship, where are you from?
The ship. I don't live in any particular place. The lake turtle's my home. I was pretty sure I was born on it. Never really met my ma. But spent my whole life on the lake turtle. Seeing different parts of the world.
Kreg is
Sounds nice.
impressed. He's just like, that's so cool.
Nothing like the adventurous lifestyle.
We're adventurers.
I kind of assumed as much. There's only 2 people in this town that I don't think meet your standard fare, and I know both of them by name. So, seeing you 3, she kind of lets her eyes linger on Scratch a little longer. You're definitely not run-of-the-mill.
So we're special?
That's one word for it, yes.
So, if you were to take people out of harm's way, where would you take them?
I'd probably take them over to Mace. Next biggest port. The other alternative is taking one of the channels out of the lake and into the ocean. I mean, that's not really fun at the best of times, it's necessary. But when I do it, normally I do it with nothing more than a crew that knows what they're doing and people who don't get in my way.
Right.
Once you hit open water, it's not that bad until something attacks the ship.
And then you risk losing people.
Yeah. So bringing them to Mace would be the preferable option, but Rolf doesn't listen to me. He thinks they can dig in their heels and be safe behind their stupid little wall.
It's a big wall.
But war is coming.
That's what I've been telling him.
He seems to think they can survive this.
He seems to think that a wooden structure is enough to deter an oncoming army.
Yes, but wood burns.
So do towns.
Mm-hmm. Well, when we see him, I will certainly talk to him about that. Hopefully we can get some people out of here safely. If you would be willing, of course.
I've been asking for the materials and finances to outfit the lake turtle to do just that.
So, as long as we can get him to agree, you're on board?
I've been on board since the beginning, quite literally. All it really would take is setting up sleeping quarters and being able to take on enough food to make the journey. Crossing the lake takes about 5 days, if weather is good, and weather tends to be good. She kind of grins wolfishly when she says that.
That's scary.
She seems very interested in Scratch.
Well, the look she gave Scratch wasn't one of, like, attraction. It was more of interest, because as she said, you're not the standard fare. She's seen a tiefling before, she's seen a gnome before. Katzen are still very rare.
No one has seen a Katzen.
Some people have. Some people do know of the Katzen, but they're more legends and stories. Seeing one walking around is very different.
Okay, that's
So
That's fair.
tabaxis exist yet around here? Or?
There's no such thing as a tabaxi in my world, because when I made this world, tabaxi were not a thing.
Alright, so we will talk with him and I'll let you know how it goes afterwards.
I hope so. I'm planning on barging in there at some point myself.
We got this. And he just holds up a thumb with his hand on his hip, posing.
You're an interesting little one, aren't you?
I'm
That is a
special.
good word for it. Yes, he is.
Certainly is a word to use.
Yeah.
Lordy Christ.
Well then.
We'll see you later.
See you later.
I just kind of like give her a wink as we leave.
See you later, alligator.
She just kind of looks at you, shakes her head, and starts walking up the gangplank.
Kreg or Piper?
Kreg.
Sure not Piper?
I'm sure not Piper. Rosita is not going to begrudge Piper the wink. She's met Philia.
Fair enough. Fair enough. You got that.
All right. I guess we look around to ask around a little bit more, see if anybody's seen Jelltur.
Kreg starts sniffing the ground and track him like a dog.
Alrighty. You eventually turn up fruitless and end up back at the inn to prepare for your meeting with Mayor Rolf. And Jeff comes downstairs, sees Kreg, sighs, and walks over to Casey, make sure that she's eating her lunch. And Tilly is behind the bar. As soon as you walk in, her eyes are on Kreg, and it's just rage. Just rage.
Hey, he is turning people into barbarians.
It's his special power. I thought you knew that.
I believe it's the way of the berserker for her.
It's gonna be. And eventually, as you're getting ready to get up and go, Jelltur will enter the inn.
There you are. Where have you been all morning?
Tiny human! I run up and I hug him.
Something I should take care of a while ago.
He says that, and then all of a sudden, wham! Kreg hits him in a hug.
I'm thinking more like a linebacker.
Jesus Christ, can I dodge? Can I dodge?
Athletics versus acrobatics.
20 modified?
Kreg.
20 modified.
The tie goes to the defender. You barely duck out of the way as Kreg, like, head first goes into the door.
Hi, Kreg.
He goes face first into the wood. Rolls over and looks up at Jelltur.
Hey, tiny human.
Hey, Kreg. Don't do that.
Okay.
No tackling the half.
I hug the halfling.
He just gets up and hugs you.
I returned a hug.
So,
So what did I miss?
two things. One, we have a meeting with the mayor in, an hour?
No, in like 5 minutes. You guys gotta go.
Yeah, we gotta go. We have a meeting.
Kreg starts bolting.
The other thing is Kreg has a pet.
You look up Jelltur, and sitting on the table is the lemur. And he's making eye contact with you as he slowly brings a piece of fruit to his mouth and begins to eat it.
So when you say Kreg has a pet, you mean you have a pet?
Pretty much. Yes.
It slowly lowers what the fruit it's eating, pulls the pit out, and walks over to Kreg and drops the pit on his head. And then finishes eating the fruit.
I try to
The
pet
entire time, it does not break eye contact with Jelltur.
I try to pet it.
It allows this.
I mean, this one seems more manageable.
I mean, yes.
That's Sebastian.
Yes, it does.
By the way, you guys have no idea where it's getting this fruit.
No, we don't.
I assumed they had. I assumed I came in. I assumed they had it already.
You walked in and he had it in his hand. No one knows where he's getting this fruit.
Neither did Philia.
Craziness.
So we have our meeting that we need to go to now.
And Kreg is gone.
Yeah, Kreg got up and started running towards the mayor's house.
Because he knows how, soon it's gonna be.
I look over at Tilly.
Tilly is glaring at, where Kreg was. Just glaring at the door, just angry.
I wave my hand in front of her.
I put my hand on Jelltur's shoulder. Maybe you should let her.
I just want to see if I can get some fruit, man.
Didn't you have breakfast?
No. I have to go take care of what I have to take care of immediately.
Well, what was that exactly? Where were you?
The ghost ship.
I look straight at Scratch. We'll deal with this later. We have to go to our meeting.
As I'm walking to the door, I'm looking at Tilly. She's still staring at the door.
Yes, very angry.
You know, how many doors? There's like a double doors for this place?
No, just one.
I'm afraid to like walk out the door.
Well, one less right now.
Huh?
You see Jeff
Well,
coming in
it's-
with a... There's a back door. Jeff is coming through the back door with a piece of wood he apparently just finished cutting, and he's going back upstairs.
What's that about?
Your
We'll
door.
explain later.
And he goes up
Oh.
the stairs.
What? Wait a minute.
As we walk. So, when you didn't come downstairs to join us for breakfast, Kreg went to go
Kreg
and
knocked on your door.
And you
Yes.
just let him knock on the door. Kreg.
Yes.
Next time, if you're going to leave, let us know where you're going, and maybe you'll still have a door.
Oh no, next time keep a shorter leash on your pet. I'm gonna finish this meeting, so because Piper seems to be very adamant about us going right now, so
Well, I got to talk to
we
a.
do have an appointment.
We do have an appointment, and I talked to a captain.
talk to a captain.
Yes.
But came to the inn or something.
No, we were looking for you. We actually went down to the docks.
Oh, well, looking at me was the first mistake.
Her name is Rosita, and she is beautiful and impressive, actually. We'll talk more about that later.
I don't know your taste, but congratulations.
We'll see. We'll see. And we go.
I was like, if that gets off my bag, it's good. Alright, so we head over to the mayor's house.
So you're going up the Dead Men steps up to the manor house. You see the pair of guards that you met there before. They wave you through. And you get up to the mayor's house. Now, the mayor's house is interestingly built because it is one building, but it is almost like a public building on the first floor. You enter and there is kind of like a long room where there are places you can sit, there are places where people can wait, and then there is a desk at the end where there's a young man sitting, and to his right, there is a high elf who has her hair in a braid, she is wearing leather armor, and she has a sword on her hip. The young man sitting at the desk is wearing nicer clothes, not exactly nice clothes, but nicer clothes, and he is kind of scribbling in a book. There's a couple books on the desk. He's scribbling in one, and the elfish woman next to him looks very bored as she sees you enter. She kind of nudges him, and he looks up. He goes, "Oh, you're the group that
Hi, I'm
retrieved."
Kreg.
Hi.
Yes, we are.
Very good, very good. Come in, sit. And he gets up slightly and gestures to a couple chairs. Gilly, if you wouldn't mind getting a couple other chairs. She just kind of
Gilly.
glares at him for a moment. She walks off and grabs a couple more chairs and brings them over to sit in front of his desk. And then she
Kreg
returns
sits on the floor, cross-legged.
I can't really see you down there.
He stands up.
I can't really see you there either. And he sits down.
I stand on a chair.
You just see there's a little vein in Gilly's head that starts to pulse.
I look over to her and I say, thank you very much for your hospitality.
Yes, she nods at you, Piper.
Sit down, Kreg.
I'll sit then.
As you sit down, he goes, welcome. My name is Rolf. I am the mayor of Brath. I wanted to extend my thanks to you for all you have done.
Please don't misunderstand. You look rather young to be a mayor.
Oh, yes, my father was mayor here for a while, and he decided to move on to other pastures, and so the responsibility fell to me.
I am sorry for your loss, as it were.
No. He decided to retire up in Mace with my mother. They both moved on. They went to Mace. They decided to just relax in their winter years.
Why are you still here then?
Well, someone needed to run the town, and they left me Gilly, thankfully, and he gestures to the elvish woman. she helped them for their, I don't want to say reign, but their time here.
Their time in charge.
Yes,
Bryan, what kind of
Also,
elf is she?
breathe.
In his head, he hears, was she always this angry?
he kind of looks around. What?
I wave my hand,
Hi?
and I say it again in his head. Was she always this angry?
He kind of looks at her, then looks at you, looks at her. Gilly sighs. I've been serving with Rolf's family since his grandfather was in charge.
Oh.
I was there when his father was born. I was there when his father took the position. And I was there when Rolf was born. And of course, when Rolf took the position as well. And you kind of see a little bit of a grimace appear on her face.
Bryan, for the Katzen, the person in charge of the tribe, is it the elder? Is it the eldest? Is it the person most suited for the job? Is it the strongest?
It is a council of elders in your tribe, in the Veiled Jungle tribes. It is a council of elders. Okay. It is the wisest members of the society who come together and discuss the issue and come to a consensus. That is how.
And if one
your
were to
tribe
die,
works.
who would? How is it? It is decided the one who replaces it is.
There's no replacing. It is once you reach a certain number of years, you join the council. So the council doesn't have like a set number. It is the eldest people in the tribe.
It's based on. So it's based on age. So the idea of someone this young running the town is strange.
Very much so.
Yeah.
They should have someone older and wiser run. If they were going to have just one person running, it should still be someone older and wiser.
Yes, which means you're probably looking at Gilly with more respect than you'd be looking at Rolf.
Absolutely. Yeah, I absolutely would be looking to her. I believe she should be in charge as opposed to this kid.
Yes, and Gilly doesn't look that old, but she is mentioning that she's been around since Rolf was born, since Rolf's father was born, and she served with his grandfather.
She served with his grandfather. That means she's certainly old enough. She's certainly older than him.
Oh yes, most definitely.
Bryan,
Yes,
what kind of elf is she?
she is a high elf. She's actually a sun elf,
Okay.
which means
Sun elf.
she has the golden skin, the blonde hair, and crystal, almost like amber eyes. Sorry, the moon elves have the lighter eyes. She has like those amber, dark, golden eyes.
I go up to her and I just start staring. I'm just like, you're different than the elves I've seen.
Kreg, back to your chair.
There are many types of elves, young one. I am a sun elf. There are moon elves. And I've even heard tale of snow elves.
Ooh. Oh, okay. I go back to my seat.
Good boy.
And actually, Piper and Scratch and Jelltur would remember that the elves at the castle, or the dungeon, well, you were being held, were gold elves.
Yeah. Okay.
So Gilly looks a lot like them.
But she is not.
Well, she is one of them. Like, her race is the same race.
You said she's a sun elf?
Yes, she is a sun
Gotcha.
elf.
So I was going to say, is she the one actually running the town and you're just a figurehead, or?
You say that to Rolf?
Yeah, just actively say that out loud. Yeah.
Rolf just I asked Gilly for her opinion on a lot of things, all things. But I
Why not?
And finally she just sighs and goes, "Just grow a backbone, boy. Your father was nothing like this, and your grandfather surely wasn't when we fought in the war. Straighten up." She slaps him on the shoulder. His back goes straight. Chin up and speak to them plainly. She crosses her arms
Piper
and just
just
looks
has
away.
respect for Gilly.
I'm trying not to laugh.
Yeah.
You see Jelltur trying not to laugh.
Kreg has a face on that it looks like he's dealt with a similar experience himself.
He knows this kind of woman.
Yeah.
You fought in a war previously?
Yes, I'm assuming your kind were not partaking in it. You have different gods than us, as I recall.
Yes.
This was a war. She kind of looks off to the side a little bit. It was not for my race to partake in, but I could not abide the slaughter. Corrin and I, we fought together because the orcs and the dwarves were raging their battle for their gods, and it was spilling over. I killed many orcs. I killed many dwarves. I defended the towns that needed defending. Corrin was with me when we did that.
Corrin was his grandfather?
Correct.
You advised him as well as his son afterwards?
Darius, yes.
So that means we have a seasoned warrior, a proven leader. Yeah, no, I will turn to this person because she's clearly the most qualified person here.
I'm not really much of a commander. I'm more of a consultant. Corrin would ask my opinion on matters, and I would follow him into battle. When he became the mayor of this town, I aided him in knowing the defense and knowing how to run the operations. Darius focused more on operations as violence wasn't really in the man, and luckily it was a time of peace. Unfortunately for Rolf, he was handed the reins as violence became necessary again.
Right, I wanted to insight check what she was saying about Corn. See if there was more than just an advisor consultant, relationship.
Go ahead and roll insight.
I'm just curious, that's all.
I hate you, Piper.
Nah, that's an 8.
I agree.
Yeah, no, she's just a wall of... There's no emotion coming from her. Except when she snapped at Rolf, there was no real emotion from her. She's very good at hiding.
Okay. Another time.
And that's when Rolf's going to turn and go, well, yes, and you're very good at the defenses. However, yes, I understand. You would much prefer to have him in charge of them, and I understand that.
Who's him?
Bezit, she'll say, and then turn to Rolf, and she will just glare at him. Right. I answer for myself. Bezit is, he was a soldier who retired here, and he is very skilled at keeping up the watch, the guard, the defense. He's actually the one who suggested the building of the wall to help our defenses. And Bezit himself is one of the most well-honored and recognized warriors in the region.
But there's obviously a but there.
He's currently not here. He decided to lead a party to get a bead on just what our position would be if a battle were to come to Brath. And so he took the western path up towards Garen's Fangs, and that was just almost a month ago.
Is he dead?
Kreg.
And then you see Gilly.
If he's as seasoned as he is, I don't think he'd be dead, but something might have happened.
We're unaware of his current standing. It would be most beneficial to get him back alive. I can maintain the defenses, however, I will admit Bezit may be less experienced than I in the art of war, however, he is masterful when it comes to sieges. He's been on both ends, and been fairly successful.
And the civilians?
We move them back from the edges of town towards the water. We're fighting to break out. However, we have not had anything other than an occasional goblin party.
There was a captain, the captain of the sea turtle, Rosita. She was talking about possibly helping you evacuate the civilians towards Mace.
Make an insight check.
Natural 20, so 22.
Rolf gets visibly upset when you mention Rosita. Like, not like I'm pissed off, angry, upset, like discouraged and like, no, kind of upset. He's not saying it, but it's like all over his face.
It's not so much a matter of leadership and anything. It's a matter of keeping people safe. And I'm sure that you would agree that you want your people safe.
Well, yes, I definitely want them safe. I definitely want them to be okay. But really, do we have to take them to Mace? I think the wall will hold. We have Bezit, and everything will be fine.
I place a hand on the desk. Breathe, boy. You are acting like a boy and not a man.
I thought he was a boy.
He kind of is. He's probably very early 20s.
That's literally what Jelltur says in person. I thought he was a boy.
But you are in a position of being a man.
Make a persuasion check. You do have your renown now, by the way.
Sweet. 16.
If I show up to Mace, what will my father say with the entire town in the ship?
He will say that given the status of the war, this is the best move you could make for the people to keep them safe.
I'll look like a complete failure.
You're not.
Not only couldn't leave the town, I destroyed the town. There's no town.
Well, you didn't destroy it.
There is only no town if there is no people. You can rebuild buildings. You cannot get lives back.
I mean, it's not entirely true.
Shh. I'm making a point here.
There's also no reason for you to not... You don't have to not defend the town. You don't need to keep all the civilians in danger the whole time.
Basically, allowed to take non-combatants out of town, is what you're trying to say.
Retreating is not a coward's way. It is you are regrouping and keeping your own safe.
And Gilly kind of leans over and goes, "It's what Bezit would call a fallback point."
Yes.
A tactical retreat, a smart
I'm
decision.
sure he would agree.
I guess we can give Rosita the supplies she needs as a backup, right? He's looking at Gilly every time. It's like, as a backup, right? She just kind of nods and looks at you guys, and she's just like, you can see, like, no insight check needed. You can see the frustration.
Hey, Bryan. High or low?
Always go high.
Bullshit.
I walk over and I hug the mayor.
This tiny little gnome just bone-crushing hugs the mayor.
You got this.
I can't breathe.
Kreg, drop him.
Oh, drop him.
Piper. I look at Piper again. Shorter leash.
Sit down, Kreg.
I sit down right next to him.
How is he so little and still so strong?
I don't know if you really want an answer to that question.
I start doing handstand push-ups.
So, shall I tell Rosita to meet you and you can discuss how the supplies she needs?
I didn't speak to that woman. Yes, send her, and we'll meet. However, I would feel a lot better if Bezit were here. You went to the ship. You went to the Ocean's Folly, yes?
Yes, and we came back.
And you, much more important part of that. Could I perhaps hire you all to head down the western path and find Bezit? Bring him back alive, and it's 100 gold each for you.
Adventure?
Okay.
And you just see, like, Gilly stiffen, like,
I look at him like, alright, yeah, assuming you said bring him back alive and 100 gold each. We're still assuming that he is alive. So what if he's not alive and we come back, then what?
Looks at Gilly. Then what? Half
So 50 gold each.
Yeah, then 50 gold each. Oh.
The party.
Kreg gets up and hugs him again. Thank you.
Sit down, Kreg.
Kreg,
Sit.
I let go and I sit.
Yeah, I look at Gilly. You guys, you know some place we could buy some leashes at and a collar?
The pampered hoof may have something,
Yeah, thanks.
though he tends to work more in metal than in leather. If
Metal
you're looking for
might be
something
better for
leather,
him.
you might want to speak to Philia at the Closet Cornucopia.
I think we should go with metal.
but first, you talk to Rosita. Start thinking about how to best move the civilians, and we'll take the job once people are safe. Sound good?
This is going to take a little time to organize and everything. If you could be on your way before then, the sooner Bezit's back, the better everything will be.
Are there any towns, like smaller cities, towns, villages up north, up west?
No, just Garen's Fangs.
I just kinda lean a little bit onto the desk. You really need to project more confidence. It'll help people worry less. And I push myself off of the desk. Let's go.
Should we get a cart?
Who are you asking that to?
I was assuming since she starts walking, should we get a cart first? Yeah, a cart you can give us, right?
I wouldn't actually advise the cart. Gilly's, she pulls out a little map of the area, and she shows you Garen's Fang is a mountain range.
Oh, goodness gracious.
The path to Garen's Fangs is slightly narrow. A cart would only get you so far within it. You'd have to leave the horse at the base of the mountain because it wouldn't be able to climb. And there's no guarantee it would be there when you got back. There have been goblin raids.
Oh yeah, we experienced that earlier too.
So
On our way to town.
Kreg did
it may be smarter and safer to take the slower path of walking than to try to rush and lose valuable equipment.
I start walking out now. Alright, sure. This man's been gone for a month. Hope you guys are ready to start walking.
Well, first we need to tell Rosita that Rolf is willing to meet with her.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to meet her.
No, and you will. I told
No,
him
she
about the
mentioned-
captain.
She mentioned a captain. She didn't mention her name, so I was just like, I'm assuming it's the captain.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I get the pleasure of meeting her.
So, to the
Right.
docks.
And let's head back.
Right? So you head down the steps and you make it back to the docks where
Bye.
the lake turtle is docked, and Rosita is lounging more on the deck as her crew is moving boxes and crates and equipment around. Her two half-orcs nearby.
Rosita, we're back.
She looks up. Ah, my new friends.
Mm-hmm.
How was your meeting with our stout-hearted young man?
Well, Gilly is wonderful.
She's a little cold for my liking, but the girl knows what she's doing.
And that's all that matters. He's willing to meet with you about evacuating the civilians and getting the supplies you need to do that.
Finally, someone can talk some sense into him. I appreciate that. And what are the lot of you up to?
We have to
We-
go save.
Mhm.
What's his name? Brexit?
Bezit.
Brexit? Brexit. we have to go look for Brexit.
We were tasked to go and find Bezit.
Oh, Bezit's missing, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So, Rolf is a little bit unhinged about that.
I'd imagine.
It seems more his normal state.
It is. And without Bezit around, that explains why he's been holed up in that house all the time.
It would.
He was always more comfortable around Bezit than he was around Gilly.
I mean, to be fair, I don't think I've seen her smile once the entire time I was in there. A lot of scowling, a lot of glaring. It's pretty funny. She smacked him.
She did. It was actually kind of fun.
If she's advising him, she doesn't need to smile.
That's true. Also, she served in the Althrun army in her younger days before defecting, so I don't think they smile much over there.
No, they don't.
Not for lack of trying, huh?
Bezzet
Sometimes.
really wasn't much of a smiler either. But he's a lot like my boys here, and she, puts her hands back and she slaps the bellies of both half-orcs on either side of her jovially, and the two of them don't even seem to react.
So you know Bezzet?
Oh yes, I've known Bezzet for a while. Tried to get him on the ship, but he wanted the quiet life.
What's he look like? What's he like?
She points at the half-orcs on either side of her.
Oh, she's a half-orc.
Yeah, he's not as big as my boys here, but grunt and groan, they are as big as they come without being full-blooded.
Grunt and groan.
Yeah, you heard her.
Some pretty good names.
Well, they don't talk much, so that's about as much as you get out of them.
That's fair.
I would love to arm wrestle them sometimes. Actually, no, I speak Orcish, so I say that in Orcish.
They both kind of just look at you. They don't say anything back. And Rosita will look at you and go, I appreciate the attempt, but when I say they don't talk much, they don't talk at all. And Grunt, the one closest to you, will look down at you and open his mouth, and there is no tongue.
Ah.
Kreg is literally just staring at his mouth.
Kreg, that's rude.
There's nothing there.
Your handiwork?
Stop staring.
Oh, not mine, not at all. These boys were, from what I could figure out, they displeased the tribe they were with, and this was part of the punishment. I took them on board, and they've been happily serving with me since. Neither one is smiling.
As happy as they can be, I'm sure. So, Bezzet was a soldier?
Yeah, he was some kind of soldier. I'm not sure what he did exactly. But you see my boys, walking around, and you see how they're dressed. It's like a jerkin and pants. They like being more relaxed. Bezzet, I don't think I ever saw him without his armor on.
Not even when he sleeps?
I never saw him when he slept.
Anyway, what kind of armor does he wear?
Chain,
Chain. Okay.
scale, it was metal.
Okay.
You don't really wear metal armor doing
On
what
the
I
ocean.
do.
Yeah.
Sink faster.
Oh yes. You know what we call people who wear metal armor on ships?
Anchors?
Very good.
Not inaccurate.
Kreg learned something new.
Alright, so thank you. That actually will help us try to find him, now that I know what I'm looking for.
Yes, be careful up on Garen's Fangs. It's treacherous.
Oh, don't worry, darling. We'll be
I would hope so. Be ashamed to lose you.
likewise. You be careful.
Oh, I just have to sit around here. But I don't ever worry when I'm on this lake. I'm well protected here.
Kreg looks at Tiny Human and he's just like, is this what we call a moment?
What? I'm like, what? I was assuming she's talking about the two big half-orcs behind her. Right?
Do you say that to her?
Yeah, I saying that out loud. I'm like, what?
She shrugs and goes, well, they certainly don't hurt me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, we should get going. We'll see you soon.
Best of luck up on the Fangs.
Thank you.
This has been the Reliably Chaotic podcast. Champions of Solane is an original Dungeons & Dragons adventure written by Bryan Scharf using the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition rule set published by Wizards of the Coast. My name is Bryan Scharf, and I've been your DM. You can reach me at ReliableDM on Twitter.
This is Jair, also known as Jade, and I play the character of Jelltur.
This is Nicole Summers, and I play Piper.
This is Matthew Reed, and I play Scratch.
This is Andrew Brown, and I play Kreg.
Theme music by Adrian von Ziegler. All other music by Kevin MacLeod on the Incompetech website and Adrian von Ziegler. Detailed information on music used in this episode is provided in its description. Music for this episode was selected by Nicole Summers, and the episode was edited by Matthew Reed. Contact us on Twitter at Reliably Chaotic, email us at reliablychaotic@gmail.com, or join our Discord server by following the link in our description. If you like us and want to support our show, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/reliablychaotic, or by leaving a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. Thank you for listening, and we hope to see you again in our next adventure.